I ask creators the kind of questions HR would definitely approve of. Then I throw in a few wildcards just to keep them guessing. This week's guest is...
Mr. Dan and Horror.
And I am not Mr. Dan and Horror, but I know someone who is. Here he is.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, how are you doing this? Well, it's an evening when we're recording here in the UK. How are you doing this evening?
Good. You mentioned that you might break out into a sweat. I actually just got back from the park with my granddaughters, and it can still be quite warm in September in New Jersey. It was a hot one. We didn't.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
We were sweating pretty good.
Interesting, because I don't think of it as being a particularly... my limited knowledge of The Sopranos, but then I guess he did have a swimming pool, so
99%, 95 to 99% of movie and TV depictions of New Jersey is Central Jersey and up. So it's Newark, it's Northern New Jersey, it's not Southern New Jersey or the Jersey Shore, and they're really quite different. The accents are different. It's so different. There's been, obviously a few films filmed here.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're also I'm out right outside of Philadelphia. So you've got that. Sometimes they will make a film about the Jersey Devil and film like an establishing shot. And then they'll film the rest of it in like Vancouver, like the X-Files episode about the Jersey Devil.
Oh, did they? I didn't know. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. I think most of their stuff was in Canada, wasn't it? Yeah.
The vegetation didn't match. It was not New Jersey vegetation. But
things like that drive you mad when you know, don't they? When you know and when you're
right. When I know.
Yeah. It's a bit like
specifically about the Jersey Devil. They've had not one but two movies set in Ohio. Now explain that to me. There's one with Ralph Rogerson, and there was a Sci-Fi Channel one, both set in Ohio. I'm like, huh?
That's great. It's a bit like the Amityville film where the first couple of minutes are in Amityville, and then she ships the sculpture or whatever it is. I can't remember. it's a vase or something. She ships the vase to somewhere else, and then the rest of the film is in a different location. So it's like the film's called out, the film's Amityville, and it's like, what? Oh, okay, we're leaving Amityville now. And again, these things upset you if you're from the place or the place. Luckily, I suppose I've never lived anywhere where it's a particularly known location, but or ones that make it into film or TV. But yeah, I could imagine. I could definitely imagine that. So as a creator, you're one of my favorite creators because you span a lot of different genres, but your knowledge is so deep in these areas, and your understanding and love of them really comes across, whether it's a review, a list, engaging with other people and the things that they've made and kind of doing your own take on them. There's so many different things that you do on your channel. And I want to kind of talk about what inspired you to start having your channel. I know you've had different iterations and different things that you're into, but I'm really interested in your current channel, but the journey that got you there.
Well, that's the funny thing is my first channel, which used to be called Mr. Dan and Harry, that's my son. I later changed it to Mr. Dan Fam as he got older, and it was a diecast car focused channel. As he got to the point where he wasn't interested in playing with Matchbox and Hot Wheels as much. I still was. But
that's like dad's playing Lego and the kids are like done with Lego.
he's out of it now. He's a senior in college, and the funny thing, what got me back into the hobby, because I had collected all those things when I was a kid, and then with my older son, we dabbled in a little bit. We still had some play sets. The funny thing about it is, it was actually the Universal Monsters that got me back into Hot Wheels, because I opened the newspaper one day and they had a supplement in there for the grocery store that I go to, ShopRite, and they had these cars, a Universal Monsters set of cars.
Oh, cool!
And I was like, "Those are so cool."
Well, so the creature there behind you as well.
Yeah,
so
I love the creature. So I picked up one of each of those, or actually, in some cases, two or three of each, and a bunch of other die-cast cars that had to do with Universal Monsters. And I just started collecting. And I actually made some videos where reviewed some of the cars and then some of like some figures that I had. Not this one. This is a more modern one, but I had some of the reaction figures, the 7-inch ones and stuff. And the funny thing is, like, the thing that was missing there was the movies. You would have thought maybe I would have said, hey, why don't I reference the movies, or maybe even see if I can get a DVD copy of the movie. But it wasn't until later when I found like the smaller YouTube community. My friend, the Night Watch Zone, used to have live streams, and he was doing like Slasher Mondays, and I was every Monday after work, I was tuning in for that, leaving comments. And I just said, I made an offhanded remark about maybe I should start my own horror themed channel. And he said, oh yeah, you should do it. And I didn't really do anything for like a week. And then the next time I was in his live chat, he goes, so what's your channel's name going to be? And I put me on the spot. So I just made it up on the spot. I said, Mr. Dan in Horror. And the next week I made a video.
Yeah. So where does the Mr. Dan part come from? Because like, I think of you as Mr. Dan. Like I don't I have a friend called Dan who I've known for 30 years. He's always Dan. In my head, you're all, even if I call you Dan occasionally, hey Dan, I'll still in my head be thinking Mr. Dan.
The funny thing is, I go to like drive-through windows, and you give your name at the window, Dan, and then when I go, the woman will be like, here you go, Mr. Dan. I was like, how do you know? I swear I hear it everywhere, but it actually comes from my background in education. I taught pre-K and kindergarten.
Oh, cool.
And and when I left that, and I actually had both of my middle kids as students, one for kindergarten and one for first grade. So, but then I left that, and I was doing some subbing, which of course, I was mostly doing older kids, and I was adhering to the rules where the norm where you go by your last name, So I thought I left that behind, but then I would see parents, like I would take my son to soccer games and everything, and I would see parents from the school that I had taught at, and they would just continue to call me Mr. Dan. And then it just kind of stuck. And eventually I kind of got into tutoring, and I even had business cards made up that said Mr. Dan. We have so much in common, and that the sort of the Mr. side of things is something that I moved from mainstream to special needs. And when you move, the school that I moved to in special needs, after I've been a special needs coordinator, but I've become solely a special needs teacher. And they, on their sort of communication journey, and because a lot of the children had some negative experiences in mainstream with Sir and Miss, we were all first name basis with the children. And I thought this was going to be really strange and really hard for me. I've been teaching close to 20 years at this point, and I was like, I'm going to find this really hard. And you know what? It made not a shred of difference. It really didn't. And it was like, they were calling me Matt, calling me Matthew. It was totally fine. Now, when I go into schools and visit them, and they go, do you want them to call you Mr. Da-da? And I always go, it's fine. It's Matt, it's Matthew. But if I went back into mainstream, I could not do that. It's just such a strange thing. But your title in education can have quite a lot of, like you say, you might bump into a student who you knew when they were 5 years old, and they're like 25 years old, and they'll still say hello, sir, or hello, Mr. Exactly. And it's just such an interesting thing that I think unless you're in that position, you never have to think about that, because it's not like if you were like a butcher, they were always going to call you the same thing pretty much, right. Or it's kind of, it can change, or it can feel a bit strange, like you say, somebody. So I think that's fascinating, the Mr. Dan side of it, and it works so well. It trips off the top. Mr. Dan and Horror is a great title for a YouTube channel as well. Right. I don't know, since I've sort of spread out, and I am doing westerns and martial arts, especially martial arts films. I don't know if it's the best. It turned out to be the best name as far as the algorithm goes, but I'd rather talk about what I want to talk about. So
I mean, the channel, if it was called Mr. Dan, is more. But again, I've got a completely random channel name that was really a name of a band a made-up band that we had at university, and was really meant for 6 of us to share videos, unlisted, like on YouTube, just share videos and keep in touch with each other. And I just kept the name. And then I was like, oh, it's just going to be about horror. And again, I did the same as you, went off in a million different directions with it. And I guess that leads into one of my questions, Richard, really, which is, does that channel fit your personality, or have you kind of changed, sort of left certain bits out to try and keep to a niche?
No, I think pretty much what you see is my personality. Sometimes I make a video where I'm in the video, and I seem to, that seems to flow a little better, even though I'm a little funny about hearing my voice and seeing myself. I'm not like a huge fan of that. Sometimes I'll just show the film cover. Sometimes I've incorporated other things. I just had a comic book haul video yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I've talked about some figures. Larry and I, the Hard Cat Dad, we've had live streams where we just talked about figures. So that's kind of like my personality. I'm just kind of doing what I want to do. Guys like Mike's DVD and Blu-ray. I mean, that guy knows so much about film noir and westerns, which were both genres that I was interested in. But because of his channel and a few others, I've really gotten into it. And, a lot of those actors I was only slightly familiar with, but I've really got into their whole bodies of work because of those guys. The funny thing is what I want to do, and I don't really have finite plans to lay out right now, but I actually want to take the channel into a little more uncomfortable areas where I do some different things involving like hosting horror movies and really making some maybe monthly videos that have a little bit of everything, and really bringing the editing up a notch, to make it seem like less like a casual guy than more of a, I'm not going to say a professional video, but more of a finished product, And I think you're frozen, or I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
I think. Oh no, I think I have to apologize. My internet is not brilliant because I'm right in the middle of nowhere. I'm trying to sort it out at the moment, but yeah, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, I think we got the general gist of it. That's one of the things. I don't mind having these kind of unedited, and because we can kind of go over certain things anyway. And one of the things, so you were saying like going in uncomfortable directions, maybe like pushing the edit and what you're going to put in videos. Are you going to maybe look at things that like films that you're not as familiar with as well and kind of challenge yourself that way, or is it going to be all about your core interests and the things that you're passionate about?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely want to get into some documentaries a little more. And actually, the funny thing is, there's a lot of like big budget sort of classic, not necessarily classic, mainstream films. We'll say, I've got a bunch of them. I've probably got a stack like this of films that like, right, your typical moviegoer will be like, you haven't seen that yet? I've got them. I physically own them, but I just haven't gotten around to watching them. It's weird. I'll rather watch an obscure Boris Karloff movie. That's just me.
Yeah. I think that's sometimes just, I think that's sometimes it's a sign of good taste as well. And also like you want to kind of find things on your own rather than just because it's the thing at the moment. I definitely can see your point with that. I think it's a strange one, isn't it? Because obviously somebody will recommend you something, or something will just come out and you go, yeah, that looks great, and then you will like not watch it for 10 years.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got some really like major Hollywood hits. I think I've got like just off the top of my head Spielberg. I think I got Lincoln here, and the one about a horse. One of the horse ones he did. I don't remember. I got like 3 or 4 horse movies I haven't watched. I don't. Yeah, but
we got Seabiscuit. We've got Warhorse.
Yeah, I think it was Warhorse.
Warhorse. Yeah, the Michael Morpurgo book. Yeah. I only know that because I had to read the book.
Okay.
In school with the kids.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah, Michael Morpurgo is quite a big, probably a bigger author in the UK than he is anywhere else. So, like when they make his films into movies, it's more of a like, oh wow. Whereas I think like when they make them in America, though, they're just like, oh, this is an interesting idea for a film, you know.
Right.
But it's strange. He's kind of up there with the sort of Harry Potter and all that kind of stuff in terms of the amount of books that are pushed at kids, you know, to read.
Wow.
Sort of upper sort of once kids hit double figures. So yeah, do you I suppose that's it. We're kind of zeroed in on this a little bit already by talking about being true to yourself with what you put on your channel. You must like kind of, you know, have you ever been tempted to put something there because you know that it'll get more traction, so to speak, than something that you just wanted to talk about because you were really thinking about it at the moment?
Right. Well, I've had a few sort of out of the theater reactions. You know, my one video for Godzilla -1 got a lot of views. That seemed to actually bolster my whole channel for like a couple of weeks, really, because I made a few follow-up videos about it. That one I was pretty much like, I think it was like the week it came out. There's been a few others, but I've never really gotten into the rhythm of that. A movie will come out, I'll say to myself, oh, I've got to see that. And if I do see it in the theater, it's oftentimes a week or two later. And I feel like if I made like a reaction video to it, it's already sort of old hat. But I don't beat myself up about it. I mean, if I do it, I do it, you know.
Well, obviously your martial arts side of things, there's, you know, people really respond well to them. And, you know, for example, you could do like, say, you could be tempted to, I suppose, and you might not feel like doing it, but you could be tempted to do like 6 Donnie Yen films in a row. You know what I mean? Because people really were like, wow, that, I think it was in The Line of Duty, one of the new Line of Duty films that people just like a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I got that one got a lot of views. Yeah, like 50,000 views.
And this is and that's when you have like a question, isn't it? Where you go, oh, okay, people really like this. And it's a tricky one, isn't it, to then navigate, because like I've noticed this with sort of the Confessions films. Like when I talk about the Confessions films, people really respond well to them a lot more than when I talk about things other areas. And I love the Confessions films, but it's not all I want to talk about.
Right.
So yeah, I think a lot of people get that when they search their own channel and look at popular and they see which one comes out top, and they go, oh, okay, people like that one, and
The good thing with like Donnie Yen or Jet Li, if there's a film of theirs I haven't seen, it's never a chore for me to watch it.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And the reason it was popular was because you were talking about it, something you were interested in the first place.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Typically. Yeah. And again, like I know there's been a bunch of recent Donnie Yen films like within the last 10 years that I still haven't seen. And I watched one called Sakura a while back. Or no, it was called Dragon. It was a different one. Just Dragon. Wow. It just absolutely blew me away. So of course I had to make a video about it, but you know, it's never really a chore. Now, going back in the Shawscope volume and watching like the one early Jet Li movie that they had in there, that was more of a curiosity. It just didn't gel. It was young in his career. I still didn't mind watching it, and I still enjoy dissecting those films, you know, from like the early days. Or you know, I'll tell you, hey, this is not for mainstream fans. You know, this if you want to see so and so earlier in their career, or if you want to see you know, a film that is just so wacky, it doesn't make any darn sense. This might get something out of it, but it's not like a mainstream recommendation or anything like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing some more months, like a Donnie Yen month, a ninja month.
Oh, cool.
I think it's time I do. You know, I don't usually like look at the calendar and what the rest of the world is doing involving like International like Women's Day, or I don't feel like the need to tie my content with any of that. So I'll just probably have a random women's month, because there's a whole bunch of really fantastic martial artists. Of course, there's Michelle Yeoh, but there's also like Moon Lee and Sybil Hugh, and a lot of people don't know about them really, and they're really
totally
hidden gems really. And I mean, some of the stuff that they did is right up there on like Jackie Chan level as far as like mixing stunts and martial arts, you know. Yeah.
I think that's it for someone like me who's like, I certainly don't know half as much as you, but I have my favorites, and I have like all the police story films, and I'll watch quite a few Cynthia Rothrock ones. I definitely lean on the side of silly sometimes, and watch some Sammo Hung ones, and like but when you mentioned some of the other female martial artists, I'd love to be led and guided into which of their films are the best, because sometimes I can get overwhelmed with the volume of things, because when something's popular, they make a lot of them.
Right.
So do you see yourself, because there's a thing I ask when I go into schools, and I say, like, where do you see yourself, not so much in your job role, but in your as a person, and I guess in our case, in how we if you looked at this channel as a job, like, do you see it as like being like an entertainer, like to entertain people, or organizing things so people can kind of understand what the order of how things happened, or trying new things, or maybe like a teacher or a leader or something like that? How do you kind of reflect on what you do on the channel?
Yeah, I think it's been more like a teacher or a kind of like a collaborator so far, but like what I'm talking about, like what I was talking about before, is I think I want to take it into the role of entertainment a little bit. It's just I have to get go into a little bit of an uncomfortable area. I mean, I could be the goofiest, silliest guy on earth with my granddaughters. I'll do some stuff that'll have them cracking up, and we've got our own inside jokes and everything. A lot of them are about poop, by the way, but. Because
it worked for Tom Green, it worked for Tom.
But I definitely want to maybe shift a little bit more into sort of the entertainment. And as far as the information goes, maybe having some of my videos come across more of like an actual essay, like rather than some random stuff that I remembered or I double checked on IMDb and maybe cross-reference on Hong Kong Movie Database or something like that. And I've actually, to be honest, I actually started writing an essay about Ray Harryhausen, and I have a video coming. Yeah. What I decided to do, I think the intro is pretty good, because I kind of introduce a bunch of people, and then I talk about how his influence, he was such an influence on me growing up watching TV in the 70s. So then it's going to transition into like a tag video where I throw it out there. Hey, who influenced you guys? Who are your top 10? Writers, directors, actors, stars.
Oh, it becomes almost like a series.
Yeah. Like make a video, or not everybody can make a video. Let me know in the comments who your top 10 are. Like as far as sci-fi and horror, fantasy type films.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, that's really good. I've noticed that. That's something I've never done, and I was interested in how you do it. You definitely you kind of are a core part of a community where somebody will have an idea, whether it's you or someone else, about something, and say, "Here's my 3, here's my 5, here's my 10 of this. What do you think?" And then you'll respond to that and put it out there, or put a different twist on it and put it out there. Did you just kind of fall into that through just being a fan of other channels, or did you, how did you kind of get into doing that? Because it's something I've never really got. I mean, to be honest, a lot of it comes from 2 channels, really: the Horror Man and Horrific Nightmares JM, because they do challenges. So in the past, I have actually did a series, where I will say, like, it's the recommend series, where it's like Jason from Horrific Nightmares JM has recommended this film, or my friend Nye from Nye's Bizarre Cinema recommended this film, and then I review it. So I did a few of those, and then they started a challenge a while ago called Top 3 Thursday, which is just short and sweet. Top 3 favorite horror, top 3 favorite Hammer movies, top 3 favorite comedies, top 3 favorite werewolf movies, and it does kind of get the creative juices going. And like when they did zombies, I reached out to my friend Echo Cero, because he has another channel called Echo Zombie. So I was like, this is your channel. So he was a little busy, so he only did that one video, but I do enjoy reaching out to people and sort of pulling them in. Professor Macabro's done a bunch of them now too. So it's really cool. Amazing as well. Yeah, and it's really cool. Like I've met some really cool people that I didn't know before. Totally.
Yeah, Rusting Willpower, Shannon, she's got a great channel. There's a channel called Bad Chop Suey, Annette, she's got a great channel, and she's got a great blog. about fashion and horror. I mean, I was like, wow, this is like, what a fascinating idea for a blog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, totally. There's a guy I know who makes films, very creative filmmaker called Brandon Scullion, and his partner Amalie. Oh, sorry, his wife now. She has a like a Instagram page, and I clicked on it, and it was all clothes inspired by horror films, and one of them was the sweater that is worn in Black Christmas. And you can visualize it now, the black with the white stripe on it, almost like a reverse Charlie Brown. I never thought of it that way until I just said that. But and I was like, oh, I've got to get one of those. But yeah, fashion and horror, they do. Yeah, it goes really well together, doesn't it? That's fascinating. So do you because it can go one of two ways with collaborators. You can gel with somebody when you're on screen with them. Like, say you and I watched a Clint Eastwood film a while back, and I had a really great time, and it was so relaxed, and we just had fun, and I learned loads because I'm certainly not a Clint Eastwood expert by any means, and I learned loads, and we had a great time doing it. Whereas I've also had situations where maybe I've not gelled with somebody and I felt a bit hot and sweaty and not really enjoyed the engagement. How do you kind of, not necessarily vet, but how do you kind of decide that you want to work with somebody on YouTube, or not work, but I don't know, spend time with somebody on YouTube?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in some cases, I've had people come to me, send me emails. Hey, can I interview you? And just almost out of the blue, and I made friends that way. But by and large, it's like people like Professor Macabro, JT's hard discussions. I just could tell, like, I just feel like we have a lot in common. Even though it's a lot, like if someone is also into the video games or things, I'm not into that, but there's certainly enough overlap where we could talk. So I'll I've done live streams with almost like randomly. Like I remember getting home from work on a Friday and JT was going to watch Sleepaway Camp. So almost like spur of the moment, I jumped on with him. And as we were watching it, we just kind of fell into this thing. We were like, let's examine the acting in this film. Is Felissa Rose acting, or is she just catatonic? What is going on here? And then but rewatching it together, we kind of came to some conclusions.
Yeah, you go in these different avenues that are just so much fun. Yeah, JT's a great person to go down different avenues with. I've done the same thing where we've started watching a film and then we've gone off on a completely different tangent, which is one of my favorite things to do, really. So in terms of, that's a lot of different collaborators, a lot of different ideas. So when you're putting something together, let's say you're putting a video together, and you have to edit it and do the sound and film yourself and put some pictures in or whatever it is you're going to do, what part of that process would you say at the moment is more you, like that you enjoy the most, or your favorite part of the process?
Probably, bringing to light, either if it's a more well-known film, something about the film that people were unaware of, or maybe they never really thought of it in a certain way, or if it's a more obscure film, just the awareness of the whole film.
Yeah, like so the research side of things is a part that you actually, it's not a chore. You really enjoy it.
Oh, I enjoy it. Yeah, even and sometimes, I have picked up some bad habits from the younger kids where even when you're doing something important, you still reach for the phone or something, depending on the film. If it's a really like just a film that I think is going to be like a classic film, like a Sonny Chiba film that I've never seen before, I'll sit there and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then look up who was in it. But sometimes, depending on the movie, like I remember I finally watched this film I'd seen in the TV guide, even when I was a kid, The Monster of Piedras Blancas. I'm watching it on my iPad. It's not the greatest horror movie in the world, but it's kind of fun. And I would pause it and go to IMDb and other places and look up things about the film, and then go back. It's I'm not in it for like the full cinematic experience where I'm watching it on my big TV. And
I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's hard unless you're in the cinema. Like for me, unless I'm in the cinema and I'm locked in and my phone's in my pocket, and even now, you see people and they're getting their phones out in the cinema, but which is a no for me, a big no. But that used to be my safe place, in the sense of if anything was going on and I needed to just switch off my brain and just focus on one thing, I go to the cinema, sit down, get my popcorn, and for that hour and a half or whatever it was, I was thinking of nothing else. And I can't think of anything else, even now, really, in my life where I can do that.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes by, it gets even harder because of the way that we do things now with social media and scrolling and researching. And plus, my mind fires off and goes, "Oh, isn't he in that film with that person? Or where did he come from?" And I need to know straight away.
Right. I want to know like at the moment.
Yeah. So I totally get that, and I think that in a way it does make the research side of what you're doing quite exciting. And then you can go. Then the next thing is you have to share it with somebody.
Right. Yeah, like it might take me a while, but like even some of my kung fu films, like I've got some ranking videos in the works. It might take I've got to see like 4 or 5 more films, and then rank all the films. Like for example, what they call the Venom mob movies. All the actors that were in the 5 Deadly Venoms. I think they were in 11 movies together. So that I'm going to rank those eventually. Some of those are a little hard to track down, though. You got to stream some, you got to eBay some. It takes a while. Whereas like with the Bruce Lee films, I mean, I had the set of 5, so I was pretty much able to review them and watch them and then rank them straight away. But I do like to sort of organize things like that in my head.
There's a lot to be said for sometimes being able to be a completist when there's a small amount of things. Obviously, sometimes it's tragic situations why the reason there's not a lot of movies if it's someone like James Dean or Bruce Lee or whatever. But like to be a completist when there's loads of them and you want and they're continuing, it can be quite overwhelming. I used to be a bit of a Star Wars completist of everything, and now I'm not. I just can't. It's impossible for me to keep up. And I watched a video recently. Where somebody probably about the same age as me, and he was just like, it's time for me to sort of hand it over and say it's not for me anymore. And it's nicer when there's somebody, say you have a director or an actor, and you've seen all of those things. But to go back to what you were saying about kind of finding out, and like for example, I learned about Sonny Chiba from True Romance.
Right.
So
like so many people,
and that was it. Then I went down that avenue, and that's what I kind of love sometimes about a film. Something gets mentioned and it takes you off in a different direction. But obviously, if I was doing that now, I probably wouldn't get as much out of True Romance because I'd be on my phone looking at all the Sonny Chiba rather than wait until it was over. So it's crazy. So my last question about your channel, we are going to come back to it, I'm sure. While I put up just to get people's, I'm sure everybody who's watching is already subscribed, but if they're not, then this is how they find your channel. Awesome. And if you just type in Mr. Dan and Horror, if you scroll down, there's a couple of collaborations, and then if you scroll down 2 or 3 videos, then there's one of yours, and they can find your channel that way. So I wanted to make sure give people different options. Now, the last question, kind of serious question, before we go down a bit, like I say, we talk about going down avenues. We go down some strange avenues on this series. What's one thing that, while making your videos, that you'll never compromise, regardless of how many people watch it, or if the platform changes, or whatever it is? What's one thing that you think you'd never compromise on?
Well, let's see. I've gotten some gifts from people, from some other YouTubers who, they know my taste. My friend Hobbs gave me the entire Arrow J Horror Rising set.
Oh, wow.
It was the screen. Now it's the screener copies, because a lot of times MVD and other companies will send him stuff, and he reviewed a few, but he knew that. Yeah, he knew that I liked that kind of stuff, so he just gave me the whole thing. And then I had a local director from Philadelphia, Phil Stevens, just reach out to me and give me his whole discography, which included the totally like brilliant, but also horrifying avant-garde film called Flowers. And he gave me like, Flowers in color. And then he gave me like Flowers Noir. And I got like a DVD of this film and then a Blu-ray of the same film. And that was cool. So I made it, I've reviewed all of them except Flowers 2, I believe. And I have a Phil Stevens playlist, of course. And every time I review one, I thank the guy again, even though this was probably 2 years ago now that he gave me the whole set of his films. But one thing I would never accept films and then like either not watch them or give them a cursory review so I can keep getting films,
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people. I saw someone on Instagram, someone I really like, and I forget who it was, who really puts a lot of work into her whole, she's interviewed some big time people, but she said something about like, I really would love to see this movie or get advanced screening to this movie. And I'm really into it, but they're giving, people who aren't really serious about the subject matter are getting the tickets or the screener copies. I forget what she was talking about exactly, but and people like me who genuinely like are interested in the material and the genres are not not getting sidelined, and it's kind of unfair, so.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I think that sort of integrity is why people trust you with your opinions and the things that you recommend. If you didn't have that, then people work it out, I think, and or certainly it's more of a hollow success that you wouldn't want.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting and I think important point to kind of finish this section on, which is really, I think there's a real integrity and information and fun and passion that comes across with your channel, Dan. And I really hope that people, even more people subscribe and get involved. And I know that you're kind of very keen for people to engage with you on the channel as well, and tell you what they think. And I know your comment sections are really, really interesting. So that's absolutely spot on. Now we're going to have a couple of seconds break, and when we come back, be prepared for some nonsense.
Let's do it.
Okay, so for the last section of our interview, Mr. Dan, we're going to use a couple of books here. We've got some Would You Rathers and we've got some emergency questions. Emergency questions, there's a 1 to 1,000. I would recommend maybe up to 990 are okay, but then the last sort of ones are about kind of ending conversations. So it probably wouldn't work for the first question at least. So just any number, pick a number, any number, 1 to
all right.
1,000.
I'll go with 68.
68, dude. Okay.
The year that Hot Wheels hit the market.
Well, I'm afraid we've not got anything Hot Wheels related. This is a little bit. Actually, this does tie. It does tie in with something you said earlier on. So, if you had to bathe in excrement, you had to, which animal or which particular human would you choose to bathe in?
Well,
it's a tough choice.
Wow. I suppose. Okay, I don't know the name of the. Thinking about koalas, but no, I think I'm going to go with. There's a cat in one of the. I think it's in Indonesia somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Eat these coffee beans, and they crap them out. And after they crap them out and they're harvested, it's supposed to be some of the best coffee in the world.
Right.
So whatever that cat is called, it's not like a giant cat. It's a medium-sized cat. Whatever that is, hey, at least I would get something out of it, right? I would get a handful of beans.
See, my thought was pandas because most of their excrement is bamboo.
Oh, okay.
It literally just comes out. So it'd be like, or I was gonna say, like, if I had to, I was thinking initially my first thought was horses. Because I'm like, it's like mainly hay, and it's not the worst
Yeah.
smell. You're putting it on your garden and stuff. But then I was like, no, panda. But yours sounds better. Yours sounds more well informed as well. But yeah, because I know that pandas, or maybe is it pandas or is it koalas?
You're talking about
Or is it sloths? The ones that don't digest what they eat. They they eat like say 1,000 pounds of something and only digest like 1% of it. So they have to constantly be walking and eating and walking and eating.
Well,
Pandas.
Yeah, I almost said koalas because the baby koalas can't digest anything except their mother's excrement. So the mom processes the eucalyptus and it comes out, and I think there's a name for it, like I think it's called like pap or something when it comes out, and it's just a green mush, and that's how the little baby koalas eat for the first couple years.
That sounds like the human centipede part 2. That right? which again was one of the most uncomfortable movie watching experiences I ever had.
I didn't care for that second one. Yeah.
No, well, I had to watch it in the first showing of it ever in color, and with the commentary by the lovely gentleman Lawrence Harvey, who's the main character in it, who is a lovely guy. Like, he's a really nice guy. I actually was drinking with him and chatting with him for a good hour or so before. Then we went into the screening, and I felt like I'm not going to leave. He's, such a nice guy, and he's doing this live commentary. But honestly, I was so glad that the person in front of me had like a massive kind of beehive hair, and there were certain bits that I couldn't see, and I was just like, thank God.
Right.
Oh my word! Yeah. Anyway, that was question 68. Dan.
Okay.
Let's see what's next.
How about 600?
600. We can't not have that one. Not that it matters, because everybody has a different take on.
Right. Okay. Into the Breach, Road to 600.
Yes. Okay. Who would you most like to wreak pity? Sorry, I can't speak today. Wreak petty vengeance upon, and why? Petty vengeance. So it could just be somebody who cut you up in traffic, I guess.
Right. Petty vengeance. How about, I don't know the names of these individuals, but the studio people that basically made Rick Baker change course and go from the practical effects on American Werewolf in Paris that he had planned to 99% CGI. I would like them to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe try on a Halloween mask and not be able to take it off or something. I don't know. Well, see how you like these effects, mister. I don't know.
yeah, like actually experience it for real. And yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, there's a real passion that I think a lot of people share for, practical effects and quality practical effects, fun practical effects, tactile, squishy practical effects that I think a lot of people will be screaming along in agreement with you. Yeah. I literally, I think my petty vengeance would probably be for something that I are fed up about that's petty. For example, I have a habit sometimes of apologizing when other people are rude to me.
Right.
And maybe I need to like find one of those people and make it very, very clear that it was them that was in the wrong.
Right.
Yeah. There's a strange and very, very short story. There's a gentleman who was walking down the street with his dog, massive dog, huge big thing, and he just let it. It was on a very long lead, and it ran up our steps to our house and kind of growled and went at my dog. And I was literally on my top step on my own property, and this dog came running over, and he didn't say sorry, which I would. I'd be mortified. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Sorry." Didn't say sorry, didn't say anything. I literally just kind of was shocked, and I apologized, and then he walked away. And I was so angry for like the next hour when I kind of processed it. I was like, I'm going to go and find this guy and tell him what I think. And obviously I didn't. But that would be the petty vengeance, I think. I think I wouldn't beat him up or anything. I think I'd just like make him slip on dog poop or something.
Right. Yeah.
Taste of his own medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question before I get really angry.
Oh, right. I need a number. Well,
yeah.
Let's go with 666. How's that?
Ooh. I think Al might have gone for that, you know.
Oh, you know what? I bet he did. That's something.
And I don't think it's.
I might have petty vengeance on him now.
Yeah, it's Al's. Well, no, he did go for it, but it's not a good one because it's not a good one. No, it's have you ever been at the center of a Twitter storm?
Oh, no.
No, and that was Al's answer too. So yeah, and then 665 was have you ever been in a fan club? Have you ever been part of a fan club?
Fan club? No. So,
I was in the Dennis the Menace fan club, but the UK Dennis the Menace. There's a different. There's not Hi Mr. Wilson. There's another one.
Oh, there's a whole other one. Oh,
yeah, it's a comic book character in the Beano. He has black hair. He has a dog called Nasher. He has a red and black striped sweater. He was like a kind of punk kind of character.
Oh,
I was in the Dennis. It was a magazine called the Beano, and yeah, I was a big fan of Dennis the Menace. I was in the Dennis the Menace fan club. That was it, really.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think OnlyFans counts. I'm joking.
Right.
I don't. If my wife's watching, that's not true. That's not
right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me. What is a good number? I don't know. How about 750?
750. Okay. 750. I might have to just say to people, we'll never go for 666. Right. Okay. So, like in the song, do you wish it could be Christmas every day? What would be some of the practical problems if this was the case? When would you buy presents for starters? And that's literally just for starters. Could anyone with an so if it was like an evil person and do you know what? I'm not going to read the rest of this. So, do you wish it could be Christmas every day? And what would be some of the practical problems if this was the case?
Well, no, it's like certainly not. No way. No, I love that the time of year. I'm the kind of person when a holiday's over, it's over. Christmas is a little different. I do give some allowance. My thing is you can have your tree up till like New Year's Day. And then like maybe if that's, if it's New Year's Day is on a Tuesday, the next weekend after that, it's time for everything to come down. I'm not one of these people that leaves their lights up until March. We have that around here quite a bit. But, the funny thing is, my granddaughters they get a lot of attention. Last year, while they were opening presents, they just kind of got bored and stopped. And
really? Oh, wow. That's unusual.
So like 2 weeks later, they're over here. A month later, I'm like, hey, here's a whole present you never opened, which is actually kind of cool. My mom actually used to do that on purpose. She used to hide one present and then pretend like, oh, look, we forgot this present because she knew that the euphoria kind of wore off, and also my birthday is Christmas Eve. So, the present.
Well, we have a lot in common. My birthday is the 18th.
Oh, okay.
My dad's is the 29th, and my best friend's is the 25th.
Wow, my daughter's is the 30th. Yeah.
Oh wow. So yeah, it's good in a way, but when you were a kid, I guess you were like me. You got one big present.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. You can get a combination
big present.
Yeah. But I like to build up. Yeah, I like to build up, and it just matches that time of year, and it just would not be the same if it was every day.
Yeah. Even though, what is the song? Oh, I wish it could be Christmas. I don't know. Did that make it across the pond? Slade song?
Oh yeah, I think I've heard it before. Yeah, you know what I don't like? I don't like the what is it? The Paul McCartney and Wings. Simply having a beautiful time of year.
Simply
First of all, it's an earworm. But when he says they've been practicing all year long, have you? Really?
Yeah.
You're practicing Christmas carols in July. I have my doubts.
It's the only Paul McCartney. I have most Paul McCartney songs singles. I've got like Spies Like Us. I was discussing this with Gareth yesterday. I've got Spies Like Us, even though I've never seen the film Spies Like Us. I've got the single. But yeah, Simply Having a Christmas Time is not my favorite. I've even got Mull of Kintyre, blimey. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. There's definitely a few songs where the lyrics of it, maybe it's the teacher in me, make me dislike it. You know, you were saying they've been practicing all year long. You're like, have you really? There's the song Handbags and Glad Rags. There's two versions of it. And it goes, 24 blackbirds in a cake, bake them in a pie. So wait a minute, these blackbirds are in a cake, and then you're going to get that cake and put it in a pie. That doesn't make it. What?
Oh, right.
It's like a pie cake, a cake pie. Like that doesn't make any sense. So I hate that song. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, the music just really goes with the season too. I torture my kids, especially my daughters, with the Annie Lennox God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. They think the video is weird because it's got like some pagan stuff in it and stuff. So it's like December 1st. I'm like, here we go. It's time again. And they're like, oh God.
Yeah, I'm sure if I had children and I'd be dragging them along to watch It's a Wonderful Life every year, I don't know if they get the same amount of love and excitement out of it as I did. I don't know. Or me quoting it, or me going, hey, you know, there's a lot of people in this town like every year and doing Mr. Potter and all that.
I'm the kind of guy that'll show him the movie, but then I'll show him like the Saturday Night Live riff of it with Dana Carvey, where he starts beating up Mr. Potter. He's like, take that,
I've not seen that. You know, I need to check that out. That'd be great. I know Dana Carvey does a great James Stewart.
Yes.
I've heard him do that, but I didn't know he did a
sketch. Yeah, see if you can find it. It's funny.
Some Saturday Night Live's a funny thing, because like for me in the sort of 90s, we got clipped up versions of just the Wayne's World sketches on BBC Two, because Wayne's World was so popular over here. Right. That was it. We never got full episodes. And then when the internet became a thing, I started like finding episodes, and there was like best ofs and things like that I could find on DVD. But I had to kind of go back and find a lot of these things, because it's very hit and miss, isn't it? Like
very. Yeah.
You know, so much.
Yeah. I mean, typically, sometimes the last couple sketches, even on a great episode, you know, be okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's by its very nature, it's the kind of thing where you seek out the highlights.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've got time for one more of these, and then we'll do a couple of Would You Rathers. So the ball is in your court, my friend.
I'll go with, let's see. I'll go with 99.
99 problems, right?
Well, I was thinking Agent 99 from Get Smart.
Oh, Agent 99, okay. Because I'm so gangster, you see, I was thinking of
right. Yeah.
Right.
You're the gangster. I am the 70s television guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the hipping and the hopping. All right. So what's? Oh, I don't know. This is a bit of a personal one. You can say pass if you want.
Okay.
But what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you while you've been kissing? For example, has the other person been sick?
Oh. Don't know if I remember.
I have got one.
I don't know if I remember anything negative.
No, I can tell you mine. Mine was a bit of a strange one. We were doing like a wedding rehearsal, and I saw the guy, and there was like a few people all doing the wedding thing at the same time. It was like a class kind of thing, and like everybody was having their wedding rehearsal. So there was different couples, and the guy in front of me was like had his arms round his potential, like his soon-to-be bride, and he just kissed her gently on the back of the head when they were walking up to the altar. So I thought I'll do that, and then I went to do that, and I headbutted my wife by accident.
Oh.
That was, but that's not surprising really for me.
I think I've had some collisions with like either my kids or my granddaughters, where it's like,
yeah.
You're gonna kiss them on the top of the head and they jerk real suddenly and hit your teeth in a certain way, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I've had that with my dog. Like she's kind of jumping up and all excited, and she's like gone to like lick me, but she's got so excited that she's like headbutted me in the face and like made my nose bleed. But I guess they don't call them springers for nothing. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. Okay, so we're on to some would you rathers to finish off now. Which with this one, there's no numbers. You'll need some libations just to get through this, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just stop whenever you say stop. Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Ooh. Right. Would you rather be? And there's 4 choices here. Would you rather be fair-minded, a fair dodger, a fair-haired, or at a fun fair?
Well,
fair-minded, fair dodging, fair-haired, or fun fair.
Okay. But the thing, I've already been fair-haired. I had blonde hair when I was born until I was like 5 years old. It's like kind of an odd thing, and then it became got a lot darker. I think I would be. I'll go with the easy, good guy answer. Fair-minded.
Fair-minded. Yeah, that's a good answer. Might say you already are fair-minded. I think I would rather be at a fun fair. I've just not been to a fun fair for quite a while. So yeah. But that's a little bit more superficial than your answer, I think. Okay. Let's do another one. Whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I couldn't see the.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Stop.
Okay. Would you rather be the emperor of all shrimps, the king of all the penguins, or the queen of all the bees? I see what they've done there.
Yes. Well, even though I don't know about the gender swap, I think I go with the queen of all the bees, only because, once again, watching TV and movies in the 70s. Two things. Number one, how many Killer Bees movies were there? There were so many. And anytime one came on, I watched it. And then number two, they were all scaring us kids in the States, at least, half to death about the Africanized killer bees slowly making their way up from South America.
Oh, really?
I thought,
I know.
By the time I was in high school, we were just going to be finished. It was just going to be, African killer bees stinging everyone to death. That's the way they hyped it up, and then it petered out. Nothing came of it.
So if you were going to make a movie about like a swarm of something or something attacking us, I guess your mind would go to bees then.
Yeah, they're a pretty good swarm insect for sure. Yeah.
I saw a really good thing recently. 8:30 every night, because I live near the sea. About 50, 60 geese have been flying directly over my house. I can literally see their eyes through my window. They're that close. And I was like, what if they hated me? What if they were attacking us? No one's ever done like an angry goose movie.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can have that one if you want.
I'll start working on that script. I'm not a fan of, speaking of poop, I'm not a fan of their poop. It does get, that's actually an industry here in New Jersey. People will chase geese. People will chase geese away from parks and airports and things.
Yeah, it's quite sort of acrid and sticky, isn't it?
Yeah. And then there's also people that do cleanups of parks and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I feel like we used to have things like that. We'd have park keepers and park maintenance and all that. Now, I never see any people doing those jobs. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely something going on with Britain at the moment. There was a thing on the news the other day saying that people in Mexico, if they're traveling to the UK, are being warned about the high crime rates in England.
Right.
So I was like, oh well, okay. Glad to be here, guys. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, being proud to be British.
We didn't. It was almost a year ago. Well, it'll be a year ago next month. We were there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, we were, but we really were on like the outside of London. We didn't really get into. My son was actually doing his study abroad around Whitechapel area, so we did go in there for a day, but we didn't really go into the heart of London or anything, or see anything that was like, I mean, I've been through.
Well, I'm the same.
Yeah, but
I know what you mean. I've been the same because when I went to London, I've been 3 times. Twice I saw the football. I went for football and I saw us win one, lose one. Both times I then went straight back home. And the second time we went for a birthday, a relative's birthday, and we did do the museum and a few bakeries and a wander around and a bit of a general wander, but we didn't do every touristy thing. But I think as I've got older, I appreciate space a bit more and not being around lots and lots of people. So, yeah, I don't know. But yes, I guess if you were the queen of the bees, though, you could make sure that people stayed away from you whenever you wanted them to.
Right. And maybe, I mean, we've got a thing here where people are trying to reclaim land and make it, they're trying to plant plants that are considered pollinators. And then you have people saying, hey, let's just flatten everything and make a whole field of solar panels. And it's like a back and forth thing. In some states, it's pretty easy to just go there and start homesteading. In some states, it's rather hard. So maybe I would direct the bees. I would find some kind of a villain,
Yeah.
Go get that.
Right. Attack. Yeah, attack bees. Where they filmed part of 28 Years Later, they are working on a rewilding project there to kind of get everything, even almost like scale it back from being farmland and just getting it back to kind of pollinators and helping the air and all that kind of stuff. Right. It's going to take a hell of a lot of work because obviously even you look at farmland and stuff like that, it's so natural and it's this, then. Well, that's not what it's always been like. And we've not always crammed animals into every single green space we could find. So yeah, it's fascinating. There's a really interesting book I read by a guy called George Monbiot, which is all about that rewilding. It's fascinating. But I was thinking about it when I was visiting it, because obviously they're filming 28 Years Later in the same place. And I was like, well, if you're not careful, you'll get a real 28 years later.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's try and end on a positive note. Let's do one more. I appreciate your time, and I'll do a Louis through. But how's your energy? Are you okay? You still okay?
I'm good.
Yeah, good. Okay, let's go. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Would you rather be a tennis ball or a tennis racket?
Oh. I think I'd rather be a tennis ball, only because I feel like the tennis racket might be used for a little bit and hung up in the garage and forgotten about. Where the tennis ball, even if you're not playing tennis, people are still using it for other things. I don't know if I'd want to end up in a dog's mouth though, but I don't know.
I was thinking that I'd definitely end up in my dog's mouth, or under somebody's foot. They're doing those exercises.
Right.
It's supposed to be good. Yeah, depends if you're.
Yeah, or like in the show The Wire, the police put a microphone in a ball.
Yeah.
And put it on the street where the drug dealers were meeting, And then the one guy just randomly saw a ball and picked it up and chucked it. They were like, "Oh no!"
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely. I was thinking like it's weird. I've been watching some wrestling shoot interviews, and I watched one with I don't know if you remember Tony Atlas.
Oh yeah,
remember? Yeah, like he's obsessed with feet in real life. He's like,
and
I was thinking he'd probably choose to be the tennis ball so that he could get rolled under somebody.
Oh yeah, rolled under.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting guy. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll just put up your I'll just put up the link as well to your wonderful channel before I forget again. I always like to try and direct people attention. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Banners. It's under banners, of course. So, Dan, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Cultural Fit. It is an absolute honor, pleasure, and a privilege to have you on a channel that I enjoy, a person that I respect and really enjoy spending time with. So, thank you so much, my friend.
No problem. It was tons of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. That's all right. Is there anything coming up on the channel that you want to kind of point people towards, or something that you think people might connect with?
Yeah, well, for October, I'm definitely going to be doing. Well, that's one thing is that as far as genres go, there are a sufficient amount of martial arts films that also have horror. So I'm going to be doing some of those in October, just to sort of mix the genres. I've watched a bunch of Indonesian horror films. I'm going to review a bunch of those. Maybe probably have like an Indonesian week. And then I'm also just going to try to do some other things, maybe read some comic books on a live stream.
Cool.
I was just going through my office here. I found these toys called Crazy Bones, and I was showing them to my daughter, and there's like a Frankenstein one, a scientist one. And I was like, man, I got a lot of stuff in here. Some of it's been done for a couple of decades. So maybe just talk about, Halloween toys and scary toys and things like that. Just do some different things this October.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Things, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever want to watch The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires with me, one of my favorite miscellaneous Hammer horror films, I'd be more than up for that.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's actually a really good idea, because I did think of that one, because I've got this whole set here, the Lam Ching Ying Mr. Vampire set, 17 films, so 17. I did one of them last year, and I'm going to do at least 2 or 3 more this year, but I've got a lot. There's a lot on there, but I did think of The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, because I've actually gained over the years more of an appreciation for that film.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I've got the soundtrack as well, and
wow,
it cost 20 on LP, and it cost 25p.
Oh,
it was there. It was nothing, and it's falling apart, the thing. But I just love having it. It's just makes me happy. Oh, thank you so much for speaking and making me happy. Thanks for having such a great time with me on the channel. I hope you have too. And guys, check out Mr. Dan's channel. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks a lot, everybody. See you later.